Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us today for Tacoma Art Museum's annual Spring Luncheon. I think all of you know by now, I'm David Setford, the Executive Director of Tacoma Art Museum. And it's so wonderful to see people back in the museum enjoying themselves and having fun. So thank you for joining us. We're going to give our virtual friends another 5 minutes to join in on the live stream. And we'll be kicking off for real in 5 minutes. So I'll be back up here in 5. So continue to enjoy yourselves. And I'm going to have another bite of sandwich before I come back up. Thank you. So hello everybody again. I'm David Setford, as I said before, the Executive Director of TAM. And as I said before, we're so excited to have people back in the museum. This is our first event, live event, with more than like 4 people in the room for 14 months. So you can gauge our excitement and how pleased we are to have all of you here. I'd like to also say a special thanks for those of you who are not here, those of you who are joining us from home, live streaming from home. We hope you had the chance to pick up a lovely catered lunch from our friends at the Harmon Brewing Company, which we're also enjoying right now. And we're thankful to you all for your continued support. And we're also particularly thankful to our sponsors who have shown such great support and commitment to the museum in a very difficult year for them, as well as for us. And those sponsors for this event are Propel Insurance, thank you Propel, Showcase Media, and Watson's Greenhouse and Nursery. And then there are also those of you who have already made a gift in advance of the event. Several of you are in this room, so thank you too. Before we get much further, I would love to remind you all, as we do at all of our events, of our land acknowledgement. Tacoma Art Museum is located on the homelands of the Puyallup tribe of Indians. We'd like to recognize and honor the Puyallup people and Coast Salish communities that have endured so much so that we can all thrive here today. All right, let's check out our progress with our Greater Giving fundraising thermometer. Whoa, we're on 3,100 already. Whoa, that's great. We're on our way to our goal. We've already received some support from our community, which is critical funding in support of art at TAM. We rely on this event funding every year to bring really critical art opportunities to our community and our neighborhoods. Please give generously to help make our programs and exhibitions possible. And in the wake of COVID, it's worth pointing out that while we were closed for COVID, we developed new supporters through all the online programs that we did. And now we're reopening. We're faced with not letting those poor people that are new supporters at distance of the museum, we're not going to let those drop, but we're starting off our in-person programs again. So this is particularly important, this funding for us this year. And now to really kick things off even further than that number, I'm pleased to announce we have an exciting match opportunity from our very own TAM Board of Directors. Our trustees have pledged an online giving match of up to $6,500. So head over to our Greater Giving page to give online and get that match rolling, or you can make a pledge on the cards in the envelopes on your table. Finally, I wanted to tell you that we'll also have an opportunity for questions towards the end of the event. So if during what we talk about in this event you have a question, make a note of it on a piece of paper and we'll come round and pick up those questions. Those of you who are streaming with us, you can use the YouTube chat and one of our staff members will retrieve your questions. Those here at the museum can use the blank cards on the tables. And now it's my great joy to introduce to you Tacoma Art Museum's fabulous board president, Connie Willis. Connie, over to you.
Hello, it's so good to see people out there in bright tablecloths and flowers, and it's spring, and we're so happy you're here. And welcome to our annual Spring Luncheon. I have good news in that along with the guidance of TAM's Executive Director, David Setford, TAM's staff and Board of Trustees, and with the financial help of community grants and generous donors like yourselves, we have successfully navigated Tacoma Art Museum through this past year, which is a big thing. And so we feel very, very grateful and happy for that. Throughout this difficult year, we have felt the support of the community, and it's made us even stronger. So thank you all. The world is reopening, and with that, we have a renewed sense of optimism about TAM's future and the positive impact it can have upon this region. Tacoma Art Museum's Board of Trustees have always championed making TAM a place that is welcoming and safe for all our community. We support ideals and actions that lead to broader thinking and inclusion and continue to evolve in this direction. TAM remains and will always be the leading source for art of the Pacific Northwest and Greater Western region, but TAM's staff and Board of Trustees wanted new mission and vision statements that were more inclusive and forward-thinking. A lot of thought and input from TAM's staff and board have gone into creating a one-sentence mission, but I think it envelops what we want TAM to represent. And we all know that the stronger and more diverse TAM becomes, the more evolved and beautiful this region becomes. So without further ado, I'm going to reintroduce David, and he will announce our new mission and vision statements. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Connie, and indeed everybody on the board and all the staff, as we have moved successfully through the last year of pandemic and social justice activity to become what I believe will be a much stronger and more relevant institution. As staff, we appreciate the dedication and support of all of you on the board who have acted as thought partners as we develop this new mission. And so the mission and vision, along with the new strategic plan in which it is enshrined, took a lot of staff time between 2019 and early 2021. I'm so pleased with the new strategic plan, copies of which are on the registration table, which maps out our next 5 years. And thank you to the staff who were part of the multi-year development of this wonderful strategic roadmap. There was just such a lot to discuss, because this is the first time I see Christina smiling at me and Margaret smiling at me, because we had some very, very good conversations that lasted a long time. And just about when we thought we were finished, well, along came COVID. And then 2 months later, the murder of George Floyd, and the overdue reckoning in many institutions, including museums like TAM, about the way in which they too have perpetuated racist stereotypes and behavior. So we continued to review and further develop our 3 central pillars for our strategic plan, which are community voice, DEIA, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility, and institutional health. So those 3 pillars will inform everything that every department does year after year as time goes by. As for our mission, previously, and it had existed for about 20 years as far as I can tell, our mission was simply connecting people through art, which was very catchy and said quite a lot, but which we fell short in addressing community needs today. We felt that we needed a statement that said more about the museum's aspirations, about what we wanted to be. Not just what we are now, but what we'd really like to be for the community in the future. Moving forward, we felt our mission needs to address how we, as a community organization, are aware of the tensions within our community and how we hope to be an agent in healing those tensions. TAM wants to be a place where any member of the community can expect to hear their own voice, see their own face, and feel welcome, not just by the museum, but by other members of their own community. We feel that the museum has the ability to bring people together and provide exhibitions and programs that don't perpetuate Eurocentric stereotypes and myths. And now a drum roll for the new mission and vision. As Connie said, Tacoma Art Museum will remain the leading resource for art of the Pacific Northwest and the Greater Western region. The new mission is, Tacoma Art Museum transforms our communities by sharing art that inspires broader perspectives and cultivates a compassionate future. I'm going to repeat that. Tacoma Art Museum transforms our communities by sharing art that inspires broader perspectives and cultivates a compassionate future. I wanted to repeat that as I think it really reflects the step we've gone forward from the old mission statement of connecting people through art. It talks about what we've always done to a certain extent, but shows our aspiration, our very real aspiration, to go further and to be better in these endeavors. Now, later on, we're going to hear from Margaret Bullock, our chief curator, about how our new mission and vision are influencing our everyday work here at the museum. But I wanted to connect the upcoming exhibition of the Kinsey collection of African American art and history, in particular to this new focus. So to start with, the exhibition is curated by Khalil Kinsey, giving a black voice an opportunity in a role traditionally reserved for white curators like me. We think that's really important. And it's not just a show for the black community. As the Kinsey family never tires of saying, this is a show for the entire community to learn from. And it's going to change perspectives on the African American contribution to American art and history. And it's just so important for TAM to be doing this now. And by the way, we didn't plan it this way. We had this show booked before the social unrest that began last May. But somebody up there was on our side and thinking about it. Additionally, our Northwest Art Now exhibition is being organized by 2 guest curators of color who will be surveying our diverse contemporary Northwest art community. Again, giving an opportunity for different voices to be heard in the museum, which will allow different parts of our community to hear their voices and see their faces in the museum. And then finally, we have another very exciting development, a new award for black artists, recognizing artistic excellence. This award will provide an unrestricted gift of funds to support their work. So we won't be telling them what they have to do and putting on them our requirements for what they should do, but it will allow them to use the money as they see fit to advance their careers and grow. So we also think that's incredibly important. And I'm so grateful to senior staff and other members of staff who've been vocal and to whom we have listened, and of course the board, as we begin a path that will, I firmly believe, result in a very much strengthened level of community engagement for TAM, and a museum that will meet the needs of the rapidly changing world, as all of us, including our beloved TAM, try to come to terms with systematic inequities that are a challenge to our relevance and indeed to our long-term survival. And now it's my pleasure to introduce today our board member, Jacqueline Justice, who will reflect on the importance of our new mission and vision to TAM. Jacqueline is a Tacoma native and has been a member of the Board of Trustees since 2019. She resides in Tacoma with her partner, 2 dogs, and 2 cats. She's an attorney with Gravis Law, practicing in the areas of disability and child welfare. Ms. Justice joined the board because she's passionate about art, using art to communicate with the wider world. She's currently on the advisory board for the upcoming Kinsey exhibit. She has a long history of service to the community, having been engaged in such things as the CASA program, court-appointed special advocates, and serving on other local non-profit boards. Jacqueline, over to you.
Thank you, David. Excuse me. And thank you all who are in attendance and those online. Your support of the museum is so appreciated. This has been an interesting year, and TAM, I think, is emerging even stronger through David's leadership, the support of the staff, and the support of community members like yourselves. So thank you so much for being here. I decided to join the Board of Trustees specifically because of what it has the ability to provide to the community. I've told many of my fellow board members that I am not an art person per se. I do not have an art degree. I don't have an art collection. I have no artistic talent whatsoever. But I always marveled at the way art in any form can connect, educate, and impact a community. I've always enjoyed the conversations and emotions evoked by something as complicated as a detailed piece of glass art or something as seemingly simple as an abstract painting that at first glance just seems like some splashes of random color. It is to aid in the furtherance of this connection, education, and impact that I've come to engage with the museum. It's so important to me that the wealth of culture and history museums like TAM make available to the community are accessible to the entire community. Our new mission statement speaks of transforming, sharing, broadening, and cultivating. To me, this boils down to growth. Growth as individuals, as we, through thought-provoking exhibits, are introduced to new perspectives, new worlds we've yet to discover. Growth as a community, as we come together to share cultural events, such as the Dia de los Muertos event, or sharing in an exhibit such as the Zilin exhibit that was held a few years back, which beautifully documented Chinese expulsion from our very own community. TAM's dedication to its new mission and vision statements promises to bring even more opportunities to connect our community. It will guide us as we embark on telling the stories of our entire community. It will guide new and exciting projects as we center our work around reflecting that community. I hope you join me in that excitement as we move forward with this refined mission and vision. This mission and vision places TAM as a partner to, a facilitator of community conversations and community growth. And I just think it's an exciting time to be a part of the TAMily. David spoke about the upcoming Kinsey exhibit. And if you haven't had the time to research or find out anything about this exhibit, stop what you're doing and do that now. I mean, make your gift and then go do it, but it's going to be an amazing exhibit. The exhibit tracks African American art and history, bringing art and ephemera, dating back to 1595. Okay, this exhibit is just amazing. The Kinsey family has worked tirelessly to document the story of African Americans throughout history. Their commitment to storytelling and education has led them to share their collection internationally. They've even created a curriculum surrounding this exhibit, which takes this exhibit beyond a series of documents and paintings. We're so proud to be the first museum in the Northwest to get the opportunity to show this exhibit. It's been to Tokyo, it's been part of the Smithsonian. This is a really exciting opportunity. It promises to be thought-provoking, beautiful, moving, with a ton of community engagement surrounding it. I do hope you're all able to join us when we open at the end of July. I know I'm gonna be first in line, so we're here today to come together in support of exhibits such as that. So I do hope that you will all make your gift today. I think with that, I wanna check in and see how we're doing on our fundraising thermometer. All right, that's awesome. So 4,100 towards our goal. Thank you so much, you guys, for your generosity. I, again, will urge each of you to take the time to give generously in support of TAM's mission. If you're here in person, you'll find a manila envelope in the middle of your tables that should have some pledge cards and some pens. Once you've filled out your pledge card, you can drop it back in the manila envelope and a staff member will come by and retrieve it. And while you are busy completing your pledge cards with your very generous donation, I would like to take the time to introduce TAM's Chief Curator of Collections and Special Exhibits, Margaret Bullock, who will talk about TAM's curatorial team, their amazing curatorial team, and the work that they're doing to implement this new mission and vision. Margaret.
Good afternoon, everyone. It is wonderful to see you here, as David has said multiple times, to see people in person. It's a really strange experience to speak and not be reaching for an unmute button. And it feels really strange to be among a group of people without a mask on. So I'm looking forward to this being normal life again as we go forward. And thanks, Jackie, for your beautiful words and for all the amazing energy and talent you bring to the board and to supporting the museum. Tacoma Art Museum has always seen itself as Tacoma's art museum and as a place for everyone. But that belief has not always translated into reality for some parts of our community. And you've heard how our new mission and vision are about making sure that we really, truly meet that goal going forward. Our programming, like most museums, is driven by our exhibitions and the content of our collection primarily. And so we're working on a number of changes to the ways in which we approach them both. Growing a museum collection, as I think many of you know, is a very slow process. We have over 5,000 artworks in the collection now, but they came to us over a period of about 60 years, and primarily through a very gradual accumulation of gifts. TAM's collection, like most museums, is heavily focused on white male artists. If we aspire, however, to be a place where you can find the whole history of Northwest art, we have a lot of work to do. Bringing the collection to parity will admittedly take some time, but changing our priorities can and is happening right now. For instance, for the collection, we have made the commitment that purchasing funds will be used only to acquire works by artists of color and women artists, and we are bringing that same lens to our discussions with collectors about potential future gifts. And in exhibitions, as David described, we're bringing new voices and viewpoints into the galleries as well as doing more to share works in our collection by artists who have been underrepresented or have been ignored in the past. And I can imagine some of you are probably thinking, okay, you have curators on staff. Margaret, you're a curator. Why are you bringing in guest curators? And first of all, I want to assure you there's plenty of work still to do in the curatorial department. We have a lot to do with our own collection and the exhibitions of it and the presentation of it and the knowledge about it. So we're keeping busy. But also, no matter how much I may listen or learn or empathize with the experiences of others, I can never really fully understand and communicate their unique challenges, their struggles, and their inspirations. And a curator who shares the lived experience of an artist brings new depth to the interpretation and understanding of their work, and we all benefit from that connection. As well, working with guest curators and community partners, we learn something every day that pushes our boundaries, raises our awareness, questions our standards, and keeps us striving to live up to those big promises that we've made in our mission. Through the museum and its programs, we all have the great privilege to enjoy and share the best of human creativity, and we greatly appreciate your help today in making sure that our whole Tacoma community, and that extends beyond our boundaries of our city, can have the same experience. These are exciting times for TAM as we emerge from the weight of the pandemic and look to a different way of being that truly connects us all in our community through art. We look forward to sharing these experiences with you as we truly and fully reopen. I want to thank you for your contributions today, or if you prefer later through our online donation page, which I've been told to emphasize is open through Sunday at midnight, May 17th, midnight. You can keep contributing. Also, I've been asked to let you know David's going to come back up and answer some questions about the museum. If you have one, there are cards on the table. In addition to the pledge cards, there's little question cards you can fill out, and a TAM staff member will come by and collect it. So thank you again for being here today. I look forward to more such events in our future.
Okay, well now, as Margaret just alluded to, we're going to move on to our question and answer portion. And I'd like to introduce you all to Shannon Robiecki, who is our new Director of Development, and who will be reading the questions you all have asked. Now, they think I'm going to answer these questions on my own. They don't realize that I'm going to call Margaret or Christina or somebody else up to answer some of them, so beware. Do we have any questions?
Hi, everybody. I'm Shannon. Nice to see you all. Super thankful that you're here. I have not gotten any question cards, but if you have any questions and you want to just raise your hand, I can come by and give you the mic. All right.
This is in regards to the upcoming Kinsey exhibition. Wondered if there's a date set for the opening yet.
Yeah, the VIP opening is July the 30th. The public opening is July the 31st, which will feature what are we calling it, Christina? A block party.
Nice.
Which will stretch across onto Tollefson Plaza and around the museum. So there's going to be an awful lot of fun, a huge amount of electricity, and we're going to have a great time. Those are some of the things we do the very best, those types of festivals.
It will be great. Any other questions? All right. You want me to do it? What is coming in the glass cases?
So that's a really good question. Do you want to answer that, Margaret? The glass cases, which are an installation piece in themselves, actually, because they've taken quite a long time to get going, are going to feature our amazing and unique collection of Northwestern art jewelry. We're hoping that they will be installed finally in August. And some of you will remember up in the Davis Gallery that leads to Benaroya, about 3.5 years ago, there was some wooden cases with drawers that you could see stuff in the cases and pull the jewelry out in the drawers below. Well, this is a more up-to-date version of that, which will allow us to display more and also have more in sort of open storage in the drawers underneath. So it's really exciting that this is going to happen because we haven't had the art jewelry, Northwestern art jewelry out for what, 3.5 years now. Margaret says it's not to look like my jewelry box. It's going to look like, I don't know whether she said hers or mine. I didn't hear that. But she says it's going to look like beautiful, the Northwestern art jewelry is sculptural. And it is really amazing, and it reflects the other genre of work that's being done and has been done in the Northwest.
Great. Well, I'll come over there. And while I'm walking over here, just a reminder, someone from our development staff will come by to pick up the pledge cards. So if you haven't had a chance, please make a pledge.
I'm just curious how it was that TAM is going to be getting the Kinsey exhibit. How does that happen? If that's not inside information.
It's not. It's not. Thank you for that question. That's a really good question. One of our board members, who I worked with back in the 90s in West Palm Beach, who's listening online, so she needs to cover her ears and not go red, suggested that I go and look at this exhibition, which she had had at the museum in Florida in West Palm Beach, the Norton, in the early years of I think in 2007. And so I went to the opening in September of 2019 of the show in Dallas, at the Dallas African American Art Museum, Art and History Museum. And I was not just blown away by the collection and how much it taught me in an hour about the way we haven't taught American history properly. We've forgotten about this whole sphere of achievement that is the African American experience. And I learned so much. And then I met the Kinseys and started talking to them and thought, these people are amazing. They can interpret the collection. They can talk about the collection so well and bring it home to people. I listened to the talks they gave at that museum in Dallas, and I thought, well, I'm going to try and get this to TAM. And I came back and talked with Margaret and talked with Christina and talked with the other senior staff. And although it was slightly different from the normal shows we did, because it has history in it, we had a pretty quick agreement that this would be a wonderful thing for the museum to do, so that we could really begin to go further in engaging new audiences, but also teaching our current audiences about things that aren't taught in schools and that are really, really, really important. Does that answer your question?
Great. I have one question from online just asking you to restate the Kinsey opening weekend details.
So the Kinsey opening weekend details, and correct me everybody if I'm wrong, we open to the VIPs, which are sponsors, and which are the Kinseys and a few other groups of people on Friday the 30th. And then on Saturday we have a membership opening in the morning, and then from 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. we have, thank you Christina, sign language still works, you know. From 1 p.m. to 8 p.m. we have the block party and opening of the show. So it's not just the block party, of course, it's the opening of the show as well. And that will be on July the 31st. And then on Sunday it's just open normally on the 1st of August.
Any other questions? Coming to you.
I asked some of us staff members already before. Just generally speaking, I'm curious what the revenue components of this museum consist of. In other words, you know, the donations, memberships, and grants and contracts, and just generally, I mean, approximately.
That's a really good question, and I'm going to have to take stock because I wasn't thinking about that. We're lucky in that we have a good endowment. Shannon, come up and join me on this. We have...
I'm new here, David.
Oh, yeah, Jonathan's not here either. And our endowments account for our budget this upcoming year is going to be about a $5 million budget. Last year, because of COVID, we were on a $4 million budget. But because of Kinsey and things like that, we've raised the budget this coming year. But our budget, our endowments usually account for about 25% of our income. So if you think on a $4 million budget, it accounted for just something over, probably about $1.2 million in endowments. The membership,
Well, individuals all told, I think, is roughly 40% of our revenue. And then we also, of course, have foundations and corporations. I think foundations is a pretty healthy size of our contributed revenue, but individuals certainly make up a large portion of that.
does that answer your question? Thank you. Well, these were great questions, and several of them unanticipated, so thank you for your participation. And I don't know whether our development team has a final count.
Let's find out. Oh, you have another question?
Oh, another question.
Oh, I think they picked it up. Oh, I have one more. Oh. Do you have a question? Here, do you have the number?
I think I risk a somewhat subversive question. I'm absolutely on board with adding underrepresented artists to the collection. But is there an equity issue with excluding European American male artists?
That is a good question, and I hope I'm going to answer it right. The equity issue is that for so long, firstly, the equity issue is for so long we did exclude another population. But the other equity issue is that this is just for purchases. Purchases about 1% of the new acquisitions or 2% of the new acquisitions we get. We will continue to get collections and donations from private collectors, which will continue to make sure that, yes, we're treating with the acquisitions the side of the collection development that we haven't done in the past. And collectors, you can't go out and say to collectors, oh, I want you to buy me all that Jacob Lawrence series, because that won't happen. So that's maybe what we're trying to do with the purchase fund, fill gaps like that. But in terms of collectors who collect what they want and then say, well, would you like it? And sometimes we say yes and sometimes we say no. They're going to continue to follow their own artistic bent. So it's not like we're going to not be collecting white male artists as well.
We have another question here.
Hi. Thank you. My question is, I appreciate that there is a effort towards increased growth. I've heard today so far, and increased accessibility and equity for people to be able to enjoy the collections. I'd like to know what, first of all, it's very odd to speak with, you can hear your echo, so it's kind of freaking me out. So trying to not listen and talk and not listen. So what are the exact steps, or some of the exact steps you're taking to make that happen, to ensure that more people see the collections and to encourage the growth in the direction you're aiming for?
That's been a long conversation, and it will continue to be a long conversation, and it's a great question. One of the things we're doing is to provide new access hours, which allow people to come in. As of July 1, we'll be opening not just on Thursday night, which is free to anybody who wants to come in, through 8 o'clock. But we're also going to be opening on Friday and Saturday nights as well to 8 o'clock, which is a completely new thing for us. So we're really looking forward to doing that. We have recently decided that all kids 18 and under are going to be free. That's another huge thing for us. I don't know why we didn't lead with that earlier. but that is huge. So we do a lot of work with schools but we also do a lot of work with youth, and we do a lot of work with families. And to be able to bring the kids in 18 and under free, I think is going to be a huge development. Christina, want to add to anything?
Thank you. Oh, that is weird. I was going to say, in addition to everything you're talking about, David, as far as expanding access opportunities, as far as giving people more times to come visit the museum, and continuing to look at eliminating financial barriers for folks, this work has to happen as far as external things like that, as well as programming initiatives, partnerships, but it also has to happen internally for the institution. So I would say this past year and a half has really been an incredible amount of soul searching amongst staff and board around issues of racial equity specifically. That work was already happening at the institution, but was very much deepened over this past year, and we have a really strong commitment to continuing to do that work. So we're currently working with a racial equity consultant that's helping us lay the groundwork with a kind of long-term strategic plan about what that's going to look like, and we'll also be hiring a new member of our leadership team in this upcoming fiscal year, whose sole responsibility is going to be focusing on the strategic management of our diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility efforts, which is an incredible investment, particularly of an organization the size of TAM, to say that we're not just saying this is important to us, we're meaningfully investing in this work. And it can't just happen in forward-facing programming. It has to happen internally in the way that we're hiring, in the way that we're doing anything and everything. So it's a long answer because it has to touch every bit of the work that we do.
Thank you so much, Christina, for going into the big picture that I'd somehow glossed over. So yes, our DEI work has been amazing and soul-searching, and everybody, board and staff at TAM are 100% committed to this work, and it's been soul-searching. It's been at times really emotional, but it's also incredibly exciting. Well, thank you everyone for those great questions. So now I believe our development team has a final count for our pledge card donations today. And I'm going to invite Mary Brickell, our Associate Director of Development, up because she has them written down on a piece of paper and I'm not sure that I can interpret them properly. So go for it, Mary.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here. So I have some exciting numbers to share. This is our first ever event doing online giving and in-person giving. So we're trying to figure out how to calculate all that together. But so far, cumulatively today, we've raised $11,250. Thank you. And that is actually out of our goal, which I don't think we've said yet, of $45,000. So we're well on our way, and you all have been such a huge part of that. That does not yet include our match of $6,500 because we're aiming to get that online, and we're very close. We're just $2,000 away from reaching that online match goal. So then we'll add another $8,500 to that 11,000 number. So we're making great progress. The online giving will be open until Sunday. So if you know of anyone who didn't get a chance to give or attend today, you can send them that way. And I'm very confident we'll reach our match goal. So we're well on our way.
Thanks, Mary. Thank you, Mary, for doing that for me. I really appreciate it. And thank you to all of you, both here in person and online, for filling in pledge cards, going to the giving site every single way. As Mary said, the site will be available until May the 17th at midnight. So plenty more opportunity. What an afternoon this has been. I'm just shivering with excitement because it's so great to be out with people and have all of this good news. And I've had a blast, and the energy has been so refreshing. So it's Connie and various of our board members have been saying for a long time, when can we have when can we go back? When can we have an event at the museum? When can we have an event at the museum? And it's been wonderful. So I would like to invite you all to grab your signature cocktail, get ready, or beverage for those of you at home. And we're going to say cheers to all of you. Cheers for a wonderful event. Thank you all so much. We're so grateful to every single one of you here and online for the continued support of the community, including, of course, our sponsors, Propel Insurance, Watson's Greenhouse and Nursery, and Showcase Media. And make sure to join us right here at the museum on July the 31st for the block party opening of the Kinsey African American and History Collection. And you're going to be getting reminders about that by email, so keep an eye open for that. And we look forward to seeing you all in the museum soon. We are open currently Friday through Sunday. We're doing well, but we could do with more visitors. So whenever you have a chance to come in, and we will look. We are always patrolling the galleries to see our friends. So we look forward to seeing you all very soon. Thank you.